Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Bug Beanstalk Control. This is a very simple list, in my opinion. There's lots of lists that have like fancy one-ofs and stuff. No, we're just like maxing out on most of the cards in the list, and our goal is very simple. Step 1, stay alive. Step 2, profit. So we have not only the 4 Force of Wills as our turn 0 interaction, but we also have 3 Endurance. And the reason is a lot of the powerful combo decks use the graveyard right now. Oops All Spells and Reanimator. And sometimes you do need not only a Force because they're going to Thoughtseize you, but you need an Endurance for once they've entombed and cast the Reanimate, or once they've put the creature that mills their entire deck on the stack, then you can just put their deck right back where it is for free, pitch casting it. And we have plenty of green cards, by the way, to support Endurance. Let's talk about that. So we have URO as a secondary win con / engine in the deck. So our main engine is, of course, Beanstalk, but we also have URO. And then we have Tamio as well. She's great. And the reason why URO is so strong is because he gains life, and if they remove him, he just keeps coming back. This is insane against non-white decks. White decks can potentially exile URO, but everybody else who's destroying URO, well, URO's just going to keep coming back. The other cool thing this deck has going on is we've got Witherbloom command to fill up the graveyard and Rakshasa's Bargin to fill up the graveyard as well. And that means that we can kind of get away with playing 5 Delve-esque spells, if you will, because URO, you have to exile 5 cards to bring them back. Murktide, and sometimes you can even synergistically like have a Murktide in play and then exile some cards to URO, and boom, Murktide grows. I've also Endurance myself late game and put like 10 +1/+1 counters on Murktide Regent and attack for lethal that way too. So it's very strong. Thoughtseize is also a great way to stay alive early game. And then we just have these 8 removal spells, the Murderous Cuts. The Witherbloom command is primarily removal, like takes care of Bowmasters and other problematic creatures. And then the mana base is dead simple. We've got 8 duels, we've got a basic land, and then we've got 8 fetches. And then the Wastelands here are really just for opposing Cavern of Souls, opposing Urza Sagas, Maze of Iths, anything that kind of stops our game plan, we're going to waste that. We're probably not going to be trying to tempo our opponents at all because we don't have any tempo cards. We don't have any days. We don't have any Spell Pierce. But Witherbloom command can help recur Wastelands, and sometimes we will just, lock an opponent that gets unlucky out of being able to play Magic the Gathering. So the deck is just really tight. I played a league with this this exact list last night, and I loved it. The only changes I made were I took out the Mystic Sanctuary in favor of just having a 5th green source. If you get wasted twice, if they waste your green sources twice, then it becomes very hard to like start returning URO. And I also brought in now Spellbomb in the place of Mystic Sanctuary. I don't think Mystic Sanctuary is that important. I don't want lands that come into play tapped. Like Hedge Maze is okay just because there are going to be situations during the game where you have nothing else going on and you can fetch it. But Mystic Sanctuary, there's a real cost to playing it. It's a monocolor deck, or monocolor land. And if you look, like almost every mana in our deck is like a colored pip, like Rakshasa's Bargin, URO requires 4 colored mana, and I just didn't want to not have the max amount of colored mana. So I simplified the deck and I removed that. And then the other thing is I took out Ground Seal because I noticed a lot of Reanimator decks are not using cards that Ground Seal can stop. They're using Exhume or they're using Shallow Grave, and now Spellbomb can answer both of those in a way that Ground Seal cannot. So the rest of the deck, I'll just talk briefly. Orcish Bowmasters, I think, is a sideboard card. It's not good against every deck, but it is very good against certain decks. So I like having 3 of those that I can bring in. Force of Vigor is insane against Moonstompy, against Painter, Blue Painter. It's really good against Karnforge type decks. We have the green to support it because we're already supporting Endurance. So by definition, we have plenty of green cards to pitch to Force of Vigor. Tempo decks are strong. Delver is not going to be beating us generally, but Blue-Black Tempo will potentially beat us a lot because they have Bowmasters, which is the best thing you can be doing against our deck. So we've got 2 Carpets over here to help with that matchup. Then we've got the 3 Hydroblasts for Moonstompy, and these Force Negations are just insane. And I think I totally understand why the standard is to play like 1 Force Negation or 2, but like I do not regret playing 4. They come up all the time against Omnitell, Show and Tell, against lots. Like I played against the Epic Gamble last night, and these Force of Negations were clutch. So yeah, that's the deck. It's really simple, but it really gives you a lot of decision making, and it's really fun to play. See you in round one. Right, round one, we're up against a likely Depths player, which is like Dark Depths with lots of creatures. I do like the fact that we have Fatal Push here. Murderous could be good. This is a one-lander. They are a 4 Wasteland deck, 3 Wasteland deck, and they have lots of ways of finding it. I think we should mulligan this. I want to be able to Fatal Push their first threat. This is better. I'm going to keep this. Regent can go. Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and start with a Ponder here. And I'm going to hope they don't waste me. The reason I'm pondering so aggressively here, and I do think Endurance will be good. Like, they do sometimes use their graveyard. I'm going to shuffle this. And, you know, just shuffling, that does tell them that, like, if they waste, we're probably dead. Okay, thank goodness they don't have the Wasteland. So if we find another land and we can Witherbloom, they do have a lot of X1s in their deck that we can potentially kill. That's not one of them. We just push this next turn. Then we'll draw another card. They'll know that we're waste-locked, or that we don't have anything going on, though. Please don't waste us. Yeah, I mean, I could have forced that, and then I could have brainstormed here and potentially found a land. We have 20 land in the deck. I'm just going to trust that we're going to find one, even if they waste us here. Flagstones. Sithcat Cub. This card can be a problem. I kind of think we force this just because we don't have an answer, and it dies to like all our removal. They still got 5 cards in hand. We might need to stop something bigger. I have lost to this thing before. I'm thinking for a second. I think I am going to force this. Yeah, let's force it. I realize that I have like Tomio plus flip that I'm giving up on, but we need to survive. All right, perfect. So now, I think the simple thing to do... we don't have any targets for Witherbloom. I don't think draining them is a good use of cards. Do they have Bowmaster in their deck? Probably not. They are Abzan, which means they do have black, but no, I don't see any black in this. I just see green and white. So, okay. And this is from 3 days ago. That's why I'm looking at it with such confidence. It's actually like 6 days ago. Yeah, I'll just wait and I'll do an in-step brainstorm. I don't know that this Endurance is going to be good. Sometimes Endurance is good if they get like Knight of the Reliquary. You can like ambush it. It's not great. Endurance probably won't come out, but it's not a great card against them. So we dodged Wasteland yet again. Okay, and here is the Knight. So we could find a force off this. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm just to see what we find. Okay, Beanstalk's great, but it doesn't address the fact that we have this thing bearing down on us and potentially going and getting a Wasteland every turn. We do want to just keep going north with Beanstalk a few turns in a row. We can Surveil and get a green source, and then we can Beanstalk next turn. Wiping their graveyard doesn't feel like that impactful at this point. Witherbloom doesn't feel great. It takes like an entire turn just to go get a land. We still don't have anything to hit with it. They haven't played out any Mox Diamonds. I think I'm going to do that. This resolves. And now I'm going to go, in the end step, I'll go get the thing. But they already have one activation they can ramp while also getting Wasteland, so it's very scary. Tomio's too slow. Like, she'll just get attacked to death pretty quickly here by that thing. So, yeah. We're looking for Fatal Push. Okay, I think I'm going to just go ahead and invest in the future here. I could Ponder first. Let's Ponder first. And if we find a Fatal Push, and if we need a fetch... I do want this fetch. All right. So we're building on our mana. We're building on our Beanstalk base. I'm going to get the Bayou just so we have all lands. We don't care about Mystic Sanctuary. Draw trigger. Okay, Wasteland's not good at all against them. It can be okay against Depths specifically, but they have plenty of time to just set up other stuff. So now we're at the point of the game where they really start to take over because they have their 9 out. They're not going to bother attacking, I wouldn't think. Because they can hang back and get a Wasteland. And I think their plan is probably to just waste us out of the game. But they could try to set up, Dark Depths. I mean, the colors we're presenting, we don't have an answer to Dark Depths. All right, another Endurance. I think we just go with the Beanstalk again. First. See what we draw. That gets us deeper into our deck. And then I could just park that Wasteland out there in case they to deter them from using the... Okay, Witherbloom command's good. Now it's good that we can potentially like regrow a land that they waste. If we find a fetch, I do want to fetch away some of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Brainstorm now. They could have the Bowmaster. Okay, they didn't have the Bowmaster. Bargin is insane here. URO's pretty good, but they can Bojuka Bog it away. I think we put back Endurance. We'll put back URO for now, and we'll just play out this Wasteland. We're not going to be able to return URO anyway. I'm not going to bother wasting them. This is purely defensive against Merit Lage. Okay, so they're fetching. There's the Wasteland. Yeah, so this is what I thought was going to happen. They're going to start wasting us out of the game. They can trigger this, and they can go waste again. And then we don't get Witherbloom command to get back a land. Oh, interesting. They're not going for the Wasteland plan? They can still do it. So black confirmed in their deck. Even though we're almost certainly losing this game, it is nice. They do have 7/7. They could start attacking. Hopefully they start attacking because I can deal with that. I can't deal with having my lands wasted. Okay. There's Wasteland number 2. They have one Wasteland left in their deck. Do they have a Ramanop Excavator? They don't have any way to recur the lands. So after we suffer, yeah, I'm going to concede because we don't have a blue source and we know we don't have blue sources on top. Yeah, that is a very effective plan. Just wasting us out of the game. Okay, so what we do here, I actually don't have much of a sideboard for this matchup at all. They're not playing red, so that's off. They don't play island. This is one of the worst matchups imaginable, other than like Moonstompy. Moonstompy is probably the nightmare matchup. We could have fetched an island at some point, but it didn't feel like what we wanted to be doing, considering the number of pips. I did feel like we had too many endurances here. I mean, Bowmasters doesn't do anything. They don't draw cards. They didn't ever play an X1. Like almost all their creatures have 2 toughness. They do have like, let's see. Dryad Arbor is that the only one? Safekeeper doesn't matter because they can just keep it alive. Yeah. This is going to be rough. Stay with me though. Like this is a bad matchup, but yesterday, like I lost the first match against Painter, and then I just like won it out basically from there. So don't go anywhere. I mean, 28 lands. Yeah, they do have the Merit Lage combo in here, so I do think we should keep the Wastelands in. Yeah, the main problem is just nothing to bring in. I don't think Force Negation is good here. Like most of their cards are creatures. They do have 16 non-creatures, but like this can't even be countered. Most of this stuff is just interaction. Yeah. All right. This hand slaps because we have an URO. We do have interaction. I'm going to keep this. So we're going to surveil, and then we're going to get black, and then we're going to URO the subsequent turn. You always take care of Reclaimer, and if you can, you take care of Knight of the Reliquary, because those are their engine cards. Those are how they win. They just start ramping off of the flagstones of Trokar. So we're going to go with Surveil here. They do not have a turn 1 threat. This is one of those decks that I love, and I would play it, but I'm too much of a coward. I actually think I'm going to keep this because I have URO. I'm just going to play this. Actually, the fact that they have this out is nice because now we have a way to return URO off of cards like Wasteland. Oh, interesting. They're not doing anything. Well, that's very good for us. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and... Well, if they waste this and we don't have black, that's bad. So I do think I will fetch here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and URO just to get more land in play. I wish I'd done it the other way because I could have kept black up here. That was a mistake. I'm going to go get the Underground Sea out of the deck. It's a Triumph at this point. And now we're going to go green, blue, URO. I'm not going to waste them because they could have crop rotation and that would be a blowout. That would make sense for something that they would have right here. Oh, I ripped a freaking land. That's great. Okay, so now the push is back online. Okay, and we've got like a super juicy hand. I'm feeling very favored here. So we can Rakshasa, fill up the yard. Caracas, that is a Wasteland target for sure. I think we just play this and pass with... I mean, we could URO again, but they could Bojuka Bog, and then we lose 2 UROs. I'll just Rakshasa, and then next turn I'll go for it. We've got double Fatal Push-Up. I'm feeling very powerful. This is basically like if you're going to beat this deck, this is like kind of the draw that you need. So let's go green. I'll just put on the stack. Green, blue, green, black, blue here. All right. It's kind of underwhelming, but we are going to be able to use these. I'll put the Bayou in my hand, and I guess the Misty digs. Yeah, everything else goes in the yard. Now we've got URO coming back. I'll waste first, just so they don't disrupt me. They crop rotate. That's fine. They're going to plow my URO. I can go to post-combat just to burn off that mana. Now that I know that they have... Well, no, they don't necessarily. I mean, it makes sense to float there. I'm just going to go green, blue, blue, green. We're going to bring back URO. We'll get all the lands out. Yeah, I'll just take the Bargin out just because I want to have a Wasteland in there just in case I need it back later. And we'll put that in play. All right, and now they're welcome to plow it. I've got another one waiting in the wings. Yep. So they did float, which, you know, I guess I was right that they did have plow. Depths. Okay. All right, endurance. Definitely don't want to put the Caracas back in their deck. I think we start with just endurance, with UROing. See if we find a land. We don't. That force will be good. And then I think we just pass and we have Rakshasa's Bargin up. We also have instep endurance. It's not like a really strong play here. Yeah, that's fine. They're removing ice counters. 15 minutes on our clock. Okay, so I'm going to go get a land here. I'll get a trop. I'll get a trop. Actually, there's no reason to get a trop. I'll get an Underground Sea. Now we go blue, black, green, Bargin. What are we looking for here? More forces. I'll take these two ponders. I will play the land out. I'm going to go blue, green, blue, green, URO. You know what? I'm going to regret it if I do that way. I'm just going to ponder first so I can get rid of the ponder and keep the Wasteland in there. This will be an any order shuffle. Fatal Push number 4. Yeah. I think we have enough of those. Yeah, now that I have enough, I'm going to keep the Wasteland in there. Green. This does take a lot more time on MTGO than it does on paper. But URO is kind of like a dirtily... Like when you have URO and Loam in your deck, like you are going to go to time a lot, in my experience. We do that. We don't find a land. Okay, I think we just pass when we discard some of these Fatal Pushes. And then they can be Merc food. It sucks to discard like one of our best cards against them, but I think just let that happen. This is fine. They can take our Merc, most likely. It is not inconceivable that they run us out of win conditions. We have one more URO. Okay, they took the force. Now they can crop rotate and they can combo. We would brainstorm if they attempted to crop rotate so we could potentially find a force. They could have Veil. Okay, there's the crop rotation. Let's go ahead and brainstorm here. Okay, we didn't find force. That's really bad. Yeah, I think we're probably going to lose to Merit Lage now. Put like Tamiyo's in front of her for a few turns while we attack with, be like that. I don't need any more land. Yeah, it's going to work. You know what? Actually, I'm going to try one more time to find the force. It's a big enough deal if we find it. Let's grab another trop here and we will attempt to brainstorm. Okay, we found it. Okay, and now we have Wasteland, which is great. I'm going to put back one of these and I will pitch a Tamiyo, I guess. If they Veil, that sucks, but this should buy us some time here. I think if they are able to get the Dark Depths, I think we're doomed. Now we draw. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Blue, blue. Let's do a giant Merc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We haven't cast a single Fatal Push, and yet we're down to 1 in hand. Okay, they scoop. Wow, that's great. I guess they didn't have a lot going on because I was like, oh, surely they'll just have like another plow or something. I mean, these endurances did not feel good. They just sat in our hand the entire time. I mean, they don't really use our graveyard for anything. I think it's probably fine to just replace them with Bowmaster, because Bowmaster gets in and attacks its 2 bodies. It's weak. I mean, I don't know. Maybe endurance wouldn't be the worst. I'll keep one in. There is sometimes an end state where you've like drawn so many cards from Beanstalk that you are threatening to deck yourself, and that never feels fun. And endurance can just save the day. This hand's fine. I like all the fatal pushes for sure. Even though they didn't come out last game, they do come up a lot. Like our opponent got a lumpy draw. All right. I think we could just island Tomio here. No, I want to keep the force up. I think I'm going to just go ahead and feed the Wasteland. I'm going to get an Underground Sea and I'm going to Thoughtseize them. Because their deck is mostly land. And a lot of times, like, they just get these terrible hands. Okay, they have their own Thoughtseize, which I don't really care about. Crop rotation. If we take the Thoughtseize, then we can... Then when they crop rotate, we can 2 for 2. Yeah, I think I take the Thoughtseize here. All right. Not great. This situation is not great. Like, Thoughtseizing your opponent's Thoughtseize, I was hoping to hit, like, you know, like their only, you know, Knight of the Reliquary or something like that. Okay, they're using their mana. This is fine. I can just push this. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to push now, just in case they draw the one that gives them, like, hexproof, the split-second card. We've got 11 minutes on the clock, so I can kind of slow down and think. By the way, you may not hear a lot of, if you watch MTGO, like, whatever you want to call these VODs, like videos, you may not hear that many people talk about the clock because, like, who cares? But, like, I am a control player and I think really hard when I play. And I like to explore lots of lines. And clock comes up all the time for me. Like, I do use the full 25 minutes a lot of times. This is a blue card. This gives us Tomio flip. So I can float Tomio out there. And then if they go for the plow, then I can just take it out. I like that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Tommy. That does take us off of force. If that happens, though, you know you want to plow it. Reclaimer's fine. I've got to push. I'm going to be mana efficient here. Also, it's important to do this before it has lost summoning sickness in case they get Legolas quick reflexes. Right. Second force. So now we have force pitch force. I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to do anything. I have Clue Crack. I have Brainstorm if they attempt to plow. Sooner or later, they will go for this crop rotation, and we'll just force it. We can put Endurance in the mix to apply some pressure. They are seriously tempted to plow, but they're just like, he could have the Brainstorm. 3 mana. Is this going to be a Green Sun? Depths. 4 mana. This is very unfortunate because if I stop this, I can't stop the crop rotation that kills me with after dress down. I think the simple thing to do is to see if we can draw another blue card, and then we can just force both of these. Yes! I'm going to force this. And now they don't have the mana to both plow and crop rotate. So we could Brainstorm in response if they tried to plow here. Witherbloom gets back. I really want to Wasteland. My goodness. Wasteland would be so insane here because we could waste their Wasteland or we could waste this. I do think we should Witherbloom just to get back land. Yeah, I'm going to come in for a hug. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Tommy's already gotten us a 2-for-1. I don't have to Brainstorm Flipper. Just the fact that she's attacking and creating clues for me, we're pulling ahead of our opponent. I am just going to go ahead and get the... I could get lucky and find a Wasteland. But just getting a land back when they already have a Wasteland on the table is totally fine too. The thing I'm worried about is them naturally drawing a stage. Right. What do we want to get? I guess I could just get a Trop here. Because I do want to, like, if I URO, I might be able to get out of range of, what's it called? Merit Lage for a turn. And that might be consequential. This is fine. I can't deal with this. I'll have to find a way to kill it. Yeah, because crop rotation is already in their hand. So we already have crop rotation on the mind. Okay. And now I'm going to coming for a hug. Sadly, now I do kind of have to brainstorm. I could crack a clue first. If this gets live, then it does go get staged though, so we die. Brainstorm flips this. They burn their plow on her, which I don't even care about. And then even if we don't find the plow off of that, we do have potential clue crack into fatal push, but we have to push this. It has to happen. Let's go ahead and brainstorm. It sucks that we're turning on their plow. Yeah, there's the plow. But they forced our hand with this reclaimer. Okay, now we do have to stop this. Unfortunately, they knew, like they saw that it was a good time to go. All right, that does it. Okay, so now if we can find the fatal push, we're fine. Or a murderous cut. So we have used 2 pushes. So we've got like 3 hits, basically. That's it. All or nothing here. The game is decided. Got there. Haha, and we got a freaking URO too. This is insane. I love it. All right, so we're going to put endurance back. By endurance, you've languished in our hand the entire game. Okay, and now they're hellbent. I'm just going to see. We need more mana. I mean, we're going to shuffle. Maybe I keep endurance. No, I don't. I need to keep a land. I'll keep endurance. No, I can't keep endurance and URO and a land. So we're like that. I'm going to play this out. Now I'm just going to kill this Elvish Reclaimer. And then they could still do stuff off the top. Like they could still top deck the right card. I think it's fine to grab a Bayou here. We're just going to go black. Cut. 1, 2, 3. And I will pay the mana just to keep cards in graveyard in case I have to bring URO back multiple times. All right. All right. We're taking over. So let's go green, blue. URO's coming in. Love to find a Wasteland here. I'm not going to complain about that. We've got Force up. I'm going to pass the turn with this clue crack up. Next turn, URO will come back. They're starting to manually remove counters. That's fine. It's always a good sign that they're in the doldrums. Doldrums are like, oh, yeah, we did it. That was freaking patient play. We saw, like, I'm very proud of my play there because I saw the crop rotation and I saw that I needed to always be able to answer that. But at the same time, I saw that they were also threatening to get depths going. And there's nothing in our deck that can deal with depths. You just have to skill delta. Like, this is an unfavorable matchup, and I'm not suggesting that I'm better than my opponent is at playing Magic the Gathering or at Legacy or anything, but like you basically have to use your skill because this is a structurally unfavorable matchup. They have so many cards that basically say I win the game. Elvish Reclaimer on the table for a turn cycle. I win the game because I can go get the thing and make the Merit Lage. And we didn't have access to a Wasteland. I was looking for a Wasteland for a long time. They were holding a Wasteland so they could waste my waste. They were very patient. They played very well. But ultimately, we have card selection. We had a card draw engine in Tamiyo. We got like 3 cards off her, and they didn't have anything going on. So, yeah, great games. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against Robert Bronco, whose only history that I could find was Painter. This is a great hand. It's very, it's not amazing hand, but I think it's fine. We have Endurance, pitch castable in case they are on Oops all spells. We're not completely naked. And then we do have Murktide Regent here for later. That's probably going to get brainstormed away. Depending on what my opponent is. Like, I really don't like trying to close the game quickly with Murktide. I like trying to come in for a steady landing, not a fast landing. Polluted Delta, so they're not on Depths. Not on Oops. They could be on anything, basically. Or, I'm sorry, not on Painter, most likely. So let's just get more information. We can go get the Surveil land, and then we have our colors. I love 3-color decks because, like, 2 dual lands and you got all your colors. I mean, technically you can get 2 dual lands and have all your colors in a 4-color deck, but it's just, I like to have double blue. I'm a Murktide enthusiast. All right, Swamp to the Yard. So we could be against like a Reanimator type deck. This is going to resolve. They got our double endurance. Okay, well, I hope they're not. I think they're like a blue-black tempo deck. That's my read. They could be on Pox. Yeah, actually, Pox is probably the most likely thing they're on. Tomio's pretty good against Pox decks. This is... If they're on Pox, we're just looking for land. If we have enough land, we'll eventually win. This is a good draw. I'm going to go ahead and put my lady out. I can defend her. Can't necessarily defend her against Bowmaster, but I can stop the Bowmaster. We're actually like not that far from a Merc, but yeah, they may not actually have a good answer for Merc main deck if they're Pox. Yeah, I mean, this tells me they're like... I mean, they could just be blue-black tempo that's playing something like this. I think I'm going to let this happen. Our hand's pretty juicy. They put Rakshasa's Bargin or Force in there. We're going to Merc. They probably take Brainstorm so they can kill Tomio, but then they have to worry about Merc. They're down to 3 cards. It's not free to like be casting discard spells. You're basically reducing your own hand size at the same time as you're reducing your opponent's. Himdatark is a +1. But they mulliganed to 6 and they were on the play. They opted to take Merc. Interessante. So we can start going to Tomio Value Town. That's fine with me. Land would be great. Non-wasteland, ideally. Because I'm never going to waste. You never waste in these situations. You just use wasteland as material. Like they smallpox. Okay, I'll sacrifice my wasteland. I would not be surprised if they had a Bowmaster in their hand. And they're, yeah, okay. Murderous Cut probably doesn't do anything in this matchup. Sadly. It is a card we can brainstorm back. I'm not in a hurry to flip her. If they have Shieldred's Edict will take her out before she can generate any value. She's already generating value with these clue tokens, so I'm just going to let her do her job. Back to the stacks. Read up. Stacks is a reference to libraries. I don't know if they're called libraries in the US, but I think they're called libraries in the UK because there's a level in GoldenEye called the Stacks, and it's like the library. And it's one of my favorite levels, especially when you're playing with proximity mines. Barrow, well, that is cuttable. Right, and I am going to do the mana efficient thing and draw a card. I know I'm subjecting Tomio to risk here if they have a Fatal Push. Looks like they're going to push. She's already a 2-for-1. That is fine. I'm not going to force to save her. Okay, Delta is great. We are not going to wait around to get rid of this. We're just going to get rid of it. Could pay extra mana to reduce the... yeah, I'll do that. I am... I could wait. See if they do anything else. They may have something they want to do to proc Baragoi further beforehand. So let's go ahead and go green, black. I'm going to get rid of my creatures just to reduce Baragoy's size in case there are subsequent Baragoys. 1. I can't get rid of all of them, can I? 2. I mean, I could technically get rid of them all. I'll just leave some. No, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just in case I need the mana. I'm going to go black here because I can always brainstorm end step. So let's get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4. No creatures in the graveyard. Baragoy becomes smaller and dies. A dicey death. Okay. This is material, as I said. Now we're just going to chill. We're going to Rakshasa's Bargin here. And we'll still have, brainstorm up in case of absolute emergency. Rakshasa's Bargin is going to help us pull ahead. There's a Wasteland. If they waste, I'll go ahead and just use the mana for Rakshasa. I don't have to worry about a lot here. It's clear to me that they're on some sort of like mono black mid-range discard type deck. So this is going to give you black mana. Okay. And then they're going to pass priority. I'm going to go fetch. We get another Underground Sea here. Oh wait, I'm going to get a Bayou. No, I don't want to get wasted off of black or off of blue. Yeah, we'll do this. Green, blue, Bargin. I have gone to time against this deck before, sadly. These seem pretty insane. I'm going to take the land. I'm going to take the Witherbloom. I'm going to put the arrows in my yard where it can come back. We need one more land. Oh, I'll just Witherbloom to get a land. Black, blue, black, green. Cast this. I'm going to gain some life. Get back this Underground Sea, I guess, so I don't have to fetch, just in case life total matters. Oh no. That was kind of a misplay. I'm going to play this Tomio out. She's vulnerable to push, but I don't really care at this point because I'm going to have Uro soon. But if they waste, I should have gotten another green source. I should have gotten the Trop instead because they could waste me off of Trop and that'd be bad. This could be Oppo Agent. Shieldred's Edict. That's fine. It's a 1-for-1. They're down to 1 card and I've got a full grip. That's not where they want to be. And I've also got lots of lands. All right. Once Uro starts coming back, the game ends very quickly. Let's put it that way. Blue, blue, green, URO. All right, so let's get all the creatures out of the yard. I'll get the other URO out. And then I'm going to get all the... they have instant in their graveyard. It doesn't matter. Let's get these fetches out. And yeah, and it is consequential, like planning graveyard, because we've got Mark as well that we want to satisfy with lots of tasty sorceries and instants. I think this is a force. I don't really like dealing with this card. The token can get big enough that it eventually kills. Another one. Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad I forced one of them at least. All right. So they're going to be able to ping us, but it's not that big of a deal. What is a big deal is the fact that, like, oh, that's good. Yeah. Next turn we can just push it before we even attack. All right. We have a high life total. If they're able to kill it and waste us, that's really bad because, again, I should have grabbed a Trop earlier instead of a Thoughtseize. Fine. All right, so unfortunately, my push is going to go into the void where they can use it to push my own creature, but that will involve them sacrificing their Thoughtseize. I'm just going to go ahead and do this first. They're Hellbent. Let's see if we can find a card. Okay. I think I'm going to brainstorm with the trigger because I do want to put multiple land in if I can, just to pull further ahead, and they're Hellbent. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, great. So I'll put this back. Yeah, the brainstorm is kind of a liability at this point. And I'll draw the Delta, and then I can put both of them in, and then we can also Merc. And that will end the game very quickly. They are throwing material under there. I'll just play this out. I'm going to go ahead and just fetch right now, just in case they have Oppo Agent. It would be annoying. Trop, and let's get Bayou. I do think we'll just go ahead and Mark here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big size Merc. You are super dead. Next. Okay. Yeah. This, I often say, like, non-blue fair decks favor fair blue decks. Usually beat blue fair decks. So we are unfavored in this matchup, in my opinion. But we're not without tools. I don't think Endurance does a lot here. They didn't use their graveyard at all. I think Bowmasters is quite good here because it can ping. Force of Vigor could be good, but I didn't see any artifact. Like, they seem to be like creature heavy. I would be surprised if they're actually even playing Smallpox. I think what they're probably doing is they're just doing like a black mid-range strategy that happens to have Hymn to Torque in it, which is a card you don't usually see played outside of those types of decks. I mean, there's an argument for Force Negation, but like usually if they're discarding you or doing something, you just want to let it happen. Endurance is bigger than a lot of their creatures and can block like a pretty chonked up Orc army. Oh yeah, Endurance is good against Baragorf. It's not great against Baragorf. Yeah, I don't see anything that's bad other than the fact that we have a ton of Cantrips in our deck. Rakshasa Bargin thankfully doesn't trigger Bowmaster. Absolutely insane hand. We're snap keeping this. Beanstalk helps us pull ahead. It's just that, like, sometimes if they have the right mix of Bowmasters, they can punish really hard. So I think we start with the Hedge Maze, trying to find another land, because we will need those lands. And that way we don't have to put a naked Tomio out there vulnerable to basically anything. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I mean, that's a combo. I think we put it in the graveyard. I don't really care about flipping Tomio ever. Like, I just want her to draw cards, essentially, and distract my opponent. So I don't have any interest in flipping Tomio. That may seem like what the heck? You're putting Brainstorm when you have like all these fetches and everything, but like our hand is fine. We're going to curve out over the next few turns and just keep Beanstalking. Please cast something so that the Bowmaster is not in your hand so I can start Beanstalking. This is a Hymn. That's fine. Don't take both our beans. Okay, they got 2 lands. And this is why I wanted to have lots of lands. Because like they just basically double sinkhole us. Right, let's see if we can pull ahead here. Land, please. Note that these are not lands that we fetched out. All right, we got a land. Haha. And like this is one of the things is counterintuitive. Like, oh, you don't want to draw a lot of lands usually. But like in this matchup, you absolutely do because they're going to waste and they're going to do other things to disrupt your land. This Thoughtseize is not a problem because we have the push. All right, Force is great. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this first. And then I can fetch because I want to maximize the cards that go to my graveyard. Now we're going to go get the Bayou. And we're going to Beanstalk yet again. This will be a short game, I believe. I mean, it may be a long game, but functionally it'll be over pretty quickly, I think, with how things are going. They've got 3 cards in their hand. We have Rakshas's Bargin. We have a Tomio that's happy to be pitched. We have a Bowmaster for their Bowmaster, which is their most powerful card in their entire deck. They're going to go get a Surveil land. I think I always feel like it's a pity that people play monocolor decks and then put a Surveil land in there because it's like so easy to just get a few additional cards and then boom, you're like a 2-color deck. I don't know. I'm like greedy for colors. I mean, if you saw my Greed Pal where I was playing the 4-color, you know what? Let's not and say we did. Pichu. I would like to draw 2 cards instead of discarding 2 cards. Thank you. All right. That is pretty powerful. Okay. And we drew a land too. Normally I would never waste my opponent, but they're at 3 and we might be able to keep them off something critical. I'm going to do it. That is the price of putting non-basics in your basic land deck, friend. All right. Now I'm going to bargain and draw like a ton of cards when they don't have a Bowmasters out. Yeah, let's draw a bunch of cards and then let's choose the best cards. Hopefully a Force of Will. Endurance is not terrible. That can come down in a turn or 2. All right. Force of Will for sure. And Beanstalk number 3. We have Endurance, so we can just Endurance ourselves if we get too low. Yeah. And we're just going to pull so far ahead value-wise, their eyes are going to be popping out of their sockets. I would like to draw 2 cards. All right. That was just a slaughter. My goodness. And again, we're structurally unfavored, but things lined up right. And I saw Beanstalk is one of the best things you can be doing against like a discard deck because you just keep drawing. So we're having a good run so far. See you in round 3. All right. Okay, this hand is okay. Our opponent is an unknown opponent. Like they play a wide variety of decks. I've played against them many times. I think this is a keep. And I don't want to just... Yeah, because it could be on anything. I think it's fine to keep a Force of Will hand. I'm just going to open Ponder, start feeding the future Merc. Hopefully they don't waste me. This is quite a spread. I think we take the Brainstorm now, just so we don't have to pitch our Merc if we don't want to. And then we'll see whether we need the Fatal Push. Because we could always just play a Wasteland next turn instead of playing the Fetch. Or we could just play the Fetch and not use it. Uh-oh. That's not good, folks. We need green. I think I'm going to go ahead and be ready to Brainstorm Shuffle. Gosh, it might make sense to waste here. I mean, Murderous Cut's almost certainly dead if they're on Oops All spells. I think I'm going to fire this off. Just replay the previous turn. Okay, interesting. So they're not on Oops All spells, obviously, because they're playing a Ping D, which is Teichi, I think. Teichi in, I can't remember what it's called in Japanese, but let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I don't have information. Like if they're playing this, they may be playing creatures, so it may make sense to keep this. All right. So what we can do is we'll have a little more information. We can instep Brainstorm, fetch Surveil, and just really increase the card quality of our hand. Okay, interesting. Generous Ent. That is a very strange, like I haven't seen this in Legacy in like a year. It's got some sick art. Look at those squirrels. They're having a great time with this thing. Overlord. I think we just ignore this. They can get a creature back. So it's like a 2-for-1. They can get their Ent back. They get this back. And then 5 turns from now, we've got like quite a beast on our hands. I think I let it go. Just because there may be like I'm more worried about... Okay. Oh, we get some more from inside into their hand. Harvester of Misery is quite cool. Man, they're playing a sweet deck. I also get the vibe that this is going to be a grindy match. I also get the vibe that this is not a Force of Will match. And I think I'm going to probably just shuffle that away so I don't have to 2-for-1 myself later. But these removal spells are going to be good. My bet is that they take the... Well, what do they take? Harvester of Misery. Okay. That doesn't affect my deck at all. Like I don't have any weenies in my deck. Everybody's quite stout over here. Let's go Brainstorm. All right. Rakshasa Bargain is great. I need land. Do I really need this Fatal Push? I like these cantrips because they help me find land. Rakshas's Bargin will be good. I suppose I could keep the Force around just because I don't know what exactly is in their deck. I'm going to put Endurance away. Endurance is really like a mid-game, and they do use their graveyard, but we haven't seen them use their graveyard to a great extent. I guess I could put Murderous Cutback. It's my only answer to this, but that's like 4 turns away. Yeah, I'm going to Dream. And now I'm going to Surveil and hope to put something in the bin, because beating them down with Merc is a reliable win con. Especially when we have a Force to keep Merc alive. That goes in the yard. It's pretty phenomenal. Okay, let's draw a land. All right. Yeah, actually we can waste them and Merc. That feels pretty powerful. And then, yeah, we have Force and we just beat face. I mean, we're just going to tempo them essentially. 1, 2, 3. I'll leave URO in there. 5/5 is not nothing. We could have spent a couple of extra turns, like making it bigger. If they plow this, I probably will Force. Reanimate on Ent. You are welcome to do this. I have a faster clock and you just did a ton of damage to yourself. Okay, so now I'm really on the Protect the Queen. All right. I think we continue to tempo. What could I find? If I could find a Murderous Cut, that'd be pretty good. Let's go ahead and look for that. A second Force actually just makes sure that we can kill them through double removal. Okay, now I'm just going to come in for hugs. I just have to hug 3 times. Wait, this has reach? Oh my goodness. Such a freaking beating. Oh my goodness. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, I had no idea that it had reach. I just didn't read the card. I did not read the card. It is a tree folk. It makes sense it would have reach. I'm a dum-dum. Sorry, my excellent friends. That was such a dumb play. I was like, all right, we got everything shored up. I even let them reanimate that. And okay, Hunting Grounds. What does this do? As long as there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, this enchantment has, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. I think that is very risky to let resolve. I am going to brainstorm just to get like deeper into my deck. Okay, so Fatal Pushes don't seem like they're going to be super relevant here. I haven't seen any creatures that Fatal Push can target. I am going to pitch Force. And what we're going to try to do is Rakshas's Bargin our way out of this. Because like putting cards in, they've got a bunch of... So now we know what their deck does. Basically, they get Threshold with this. This is a really cool deck. And I totally underestimated it. Okay, so we redraw the Fatal Push. Unfortunately, I am going to go ahead and just Bargain now. I'm under a pretty strong clock now. Read the card, folks. Read the card. Do as I say, not as I did. Okay, so let's go ahead and just cast this immediately. Blue, black, or it doesn't matter. Black, green. All right, these are pretty atrocious. Yeah, why did I even click those? Yeah, I should have chosen. I don't know. I feel like I threw this game and I'm tilting off. I apologize, my excellent friends. Man, losing to Generous Ent because of my own idiocy. I'm going to stay in the game there. I mean, like, Overlord's going to tick down too. I thought we had it because, we just hit for 5 every turn. Yeah, man. Here I am sitting in my stew. Oh, URO actually, yeah, we can just bring back an URO, and that might be good enough to keep us alive. Green, green, blue, blue. No. Do not cast that. Do not cast that. Oh my goodness. I almost cast that. Can you imagine how tilted I would be? Like I was already tilting enough. Yeah, that would be super duper embarrassing. Like my entire, like everything about how I played would be completely different if I just read that it had reach. I got totally cocky. All right, so we get to put another land in play. We already have our Surveillant out. I guess we can just put this out because we're going to take another hit, and I don't really want to fetch if I don't have to. Well, I probably will fetch here. Okay, what does this do? It's just a weird, like, yeah, it doesn't look like food to me. It's pretty creepy. It's like a mummified corpse. Okay, and they are going to get Overlord this turn. It's worth noting that I can block Ent and Ent can block me, but I still want to attack to get the trigger. So we need both our Fatal Pushes stat, or we need like Rakshasa, like crazy Rakshasa value, Beanstalk value, something like that. And it's worth noting they can get that back from their graveyard every time they attack. I think we've lost. What is this? Severance Priest. Death Touch. When this creature, target opponent reveals their hand, you may choose a non-land card from it, exile it. If you do, exile that card. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card owner creates an XX white spirit creature token where X is the mana value of the card exiled. So Jin Cleric, the return of the Jin. Sweet. Yeah, much respect to Log ESD for having like just a cool deck. They're probably going to take this Fatal Push because the URO doesn't do a lot. It's just cantrips. So we'll get a 1/1 basically. Okay, and here comes their Overlord. Okay, so we need a lot of things to happen here. I think the main thing is we need to get rid of Overlord. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first before I attack. Murder's Cut does get rid of Overlord, and Bargin is insane. So we're keeping both of these. So I'm just going to start by... If I attack, they may double block, and then I can cut something. So we'll draw the Bargin. I'll put this land in. We have tons of mana to do stuff here. That's it, huh? All right, so we get a creature. That's fine. I'm surprised they actually blocked that. Wait, it has Death Touch. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Read the freaking card. My goodness. Be excellent. Okay, so we get our creature. So I think what we do is we just bring back URO, but we can't cut and bring back URO, and we need to get this off the table. So I think what I do this turn is I just cut this, and then we bargain. We can bargain first. Let's see what we find off Bargin. Another Fatal Push. I like the Ponder. I like the push. No, I don't like the push. I like Tamiyo. Just as like something to distract. I think she's probably better. Okay, now do we have enough cards? Yes, I think we fetch. We have enough cards to Murder's Cut here and still have URO. I'll just go ahead and do this. I still have a land, right? Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my Tamiyo here. I can ponder and I can also cut, but I might want to just spend 2 mana to cut. I'll just spend 2 mana to cut here during their turn. I'm going to set a stop in the begin combat. So they go to combat, I can cut it. I'm fine with taking 5 and keeping this around as a blocker for subsequent turns. That's so cool how her hair is like wheat. You see how her hair like turns into kind of wheat? It's weird. It's like wheat people. Okay, the beginning combat. This is whenever permanent attacks. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and do this. Black. Cut here. I'm going to exile 1, 2, 3 lands. All right, they got like a 2-for-1 for that, but they didn't get a 3-for-1. I am not going to block. I'm going to trust that they don't have a way to just straight up kill and keep material around. This is a crazy game brought to you by me not reading cards. Like if I had Rakshasa's Bargin, okay, this is fine. Now I kind of regret not grabbing the Fatal Push. Didn't I have it? No, wait. Yeah, I had an option to grab a Fatal Push and I decided to grab... Let's think about this. I want to ponder. This thing is huge. There's another cut. These cards are insane. Can we afford to URO and... We have to cut now. So let's see. Do we have enough mana to both URO and cut? I can play this out. I can go green, green, blue, blue. Bring URO back. That is 1, 2, 4, 5. Done. URO comes back. Draw trigger. So we get the force. Or we get the beans, rather. Okay, Tamiyo flips because I didn't think about this before I cast her. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest. That wasn't part of the plan. And then I think we do go ahead and just cut here. So we can wait till their turn. I am minding the clock because I'm like learning what their deck is capable of. There could be a crazy situation in which we want to go ahead and bargain instead of cut. Rumble's fine. Great card. We have 1 Underground Sea left in the deck, I believe. So I do have the mana to bargain here. Then I could just throw the Spirit Token in front of this. They gain some life, but it's not a big deal. The problem is they have tons of gas in the tank. They've still got 4 cards in hand. Okay, they get a token. They should just attack with Baragorf here. Okay, I think that's totally fine. I can double block the Ent. So I'm going to let them debuff. Now we're going to cut here. We'll just cut with more mana. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fetch. And this is to just fill up my graveyard in case I need to bring back URO later. Okay, 22 cards in the deck, notably. I don't expect them to have any soft permissions, so we'll cut here. We will exile 1, 2 cards. Hit that. And this has 7 toughness. Then we'll go to block, block, block. Do you have a Fatal Push? They do. Or something that they're going to do here. Harvester of Misery. Okay, -2, -2. Doesn't, it still survives. Oh, no, wait, they have 4 power. They can't kill it. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I knew that was in their hand. I just totally forgot because the game's gone on so long. I think I'm going to plus, I'm going to Rakshasa first. Green, black, blue. Making sure I have plenty of mana to get URO back. We are running low on cards and time, but I think we are turning the corner here. So I don't want Beanstalk. I do think Thoughtseize is good here. I guess I take the Beanstalk, yeah. Okay, and now I can start by Thoughtseizing just to see what's in their hand, and then I can bring back URO. Okay, so this is good to know about. I think we take the Overlord. We have 2 UROs, so they take 1 out, and it just slows us down. Blue, blue, green, green. 1, 2, okay. So URO's out. And I'll just do the same thing I did last time where I double block, and this time they won't necessarily be able to kill, like they could, you know, just pitch Solitude. They don't have enough mana to do a lot of what they want to do. Nearly half our deck is in exile, so we do have to end this game fairly quickly. It's crazy how this is the same game where I was beating them down with early Murktide. So now they see the second URO and they know it's kind of fruitless. Like, I'm interested in why they took the Tommy. Maybe they think I'm afraid of decking myself. There's the Solitude. Pitching, killing my URO. I gain a bunch of life. Now they come in. I won't block. Oh, wait, are they attacking? Yeah, I will block. I can regrow cut after, yeah, Witherbloom command. Kills this. Refills the yard. Okay, let's do this. Black, green, Witherbloom command. We will mill, and I'll just kill this creature. I will get this card back, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Now, I'm going to go and plus. I should have gotten back cut. That was a mistake. Okay, I'm going to go green, blue, black. I'm playing like crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, my excellent friends. Like, you deserve better. There's no point in putting that in. I don't even have the mana to play Endurance here. Yeah, because we don't have any green cards left in our deck. Yeah, it's just totally undefended. I could have Beanstalk there. I'm coming apart at the seams. You're watching in real time. These generous ends are just getting inside my head. All right, this doesn't matter, by the way. Like, it sucks that she's not going to... She does have the power to return Murderous Cut. My opponent's so low in resources. This doesn't matter. Bomb their graveyard. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. Let's go ahead and... I'm going to get back the cut. I'm going to Beanstalk first. I have one more Endurance. Let me make sure I have an Endurance left in my deck. So I can definitely Endurance here. I'm going to go ahead and Beanstalk first. That way I get a card draw when I cut. I'm going to minus. Get the Murderous Cut. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and URO before I do anything. I could have done this earlier. URO comes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still should have enough mana to cut here. URO comes in, draw trigger. I'm not going to put these lands in because they don't do anything. Cut this. Oh, I'm one card shy, aren't I? Well, I will go ahead and fetch nothing. And now I will cut. This generous ant has just been there the entire game, teasing me. Got 8 minutes on the clock to win the next game, but I think we did win this game. I wish I could Thoughtseize. I didn't have the mana, but I don't regret anything I've done here. We should draw an Endurance, and we can just Endurance a couple cards back into our deck. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, you may put a creature card on. Okay, yeah, I think it's fine at this point. We can actually blow that up. I think it's worth blowing it up. I'm going to blow it up just in case. Well, let's go ahead and attack first and be decisive. Plus here. There's no reason to cast any spells, I guess. We're taking a chance, But if I get rid of that, I'm also putting them in death's range. So I'm going to destroy target permanent and I'll gain some life. Do you have a creature? Okay, that worked out great. Now we'll just pass. I could play the Merc, but I want cards in my graveyard to endurance just in case of a nightmare scenario that my opponent can deal with my stuff. Let's just go in for the Death Hug. Do you have a Solitude? That took forever. Long game. But we did do it. And I was really, I was so tempted after that tilt to just concede, but I stuck with it. Okay. So, there's not going to be a game 3. We can rest assured that there will be no game 3. Bowmaster does nothing. They probably are playing Bowmaster of their own, but we didn't see it in all those turns. I think they're just playing big fatties. That's my theory. Force of Vigor can hit those dudes, actually. It's pretty good. It can hit Overlord, and it can hit their enchantment that puts creatures into play. Man, that thing is scary. Thing is so scary. Fatal Push, pretty meh. Like, we did see a 3-drop. I don't think now Spellbomb comes in. I'm going to definitely keep all the Wastelands in. They seem pretty good. Witherbloom was insane the entire game. Thoughtseize seems great. I think we just need to do a quick kill with Murktide. What we intended to do there, but we screwed up because I didn't read the card twice. I didn't read the card. I didn't see that it had Death Touch. The other thing, Reach. There's this joke, this meme where it's like some creature and it's got like all this text and they put Reach at the very bottom. So you like never read that part. You're just like, okay, it's a big thing, big dumb things that kills me. I'll just swing over it with my Murktide. Oh, it has Reach too. Or Death Touch is another thing. Like, I always miss the text. And there was this card, Stinkweed Imp, I think, and it's worded differently. For whatever reason, they didn't just update the text to say Death Touch. So I'm like, oh, it doesn't have any ability. It's got some random ability. I don't need to read that. No, the ability is Death Touch. It's exactly Death Touch. Okay. Yeah, I think we just keep the deck basically as it is. We just go big. This seems like precisely the kind of hand we want to keep. We can stop the big scary things they do initially. Get Tamio cooking. We, again, are under time pressure. Oh, they mulled a 5. And I am aware that like it looks bad like when I spend like a minute bantering with my opponent when I'm like low on time. But I'm a friendly guy. I'm amiable. I'm affable. What can I say? Okay. Bargain's great. I am going to go ahead and put Tamio out. She does generate value. What will I force? I'll force probably any value generating engine. Like I probably will go ahead and force Overlord if they try to cast him, just because he's almost certainly a 2-for-1, and you know he was like a 2-for-1 there. Lorded over the entire game, basically taking down. Yeah, I'm gonna force it. Rakshasas to reload. I'm gonna play this out. I'm just gonna immediately crack. All right. Next turn we have Tamio flip if we want it, but I'll probably just bargain. They're Thoughtseizing me. Whenever my opponent's down on cards, I'm always happy for them to Thoughtseize me. They actually don't have an easy answer here. Overlord can't return an Overlord. It has to be like a non-avatar creature. They took the bargain. They shock in Bog. Reanimate. So Overlord is back. Overlord immediately triggers. Overlord finds Solitude and Witch Enchanter. Both are bad news. So it's unfortunate, like if they had not taken the Rakshas's bargain, I could have just pitched and stopped this from hitting the table. Now we have to find removal. I guess I'll attack first. I mean, I'm definitely attacking here. If we don't find removal, I may just scoop this game. I mean, they mulled a 5. How much better of a chance am I going to get than this? So they did take the Solitude. Yeah, let's see what we get here. URO is pretty damn good. It's slow. We could waste the White Horse. I just feel like we're losing any game where this is attacking. I'm going to anywhere shuffle, and I think I'm going to concede. Let's ponder one more time. We have the cards if we find Murder's Cut. I got to get this out of play. This does trigger that. Anywhere, this is almost exactly the same hand like cards we looked at earlier. All right, let's get. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to beat that. All right. We still have 6 minutes. With Reanimate in, it may make sense to bring this in. Slower cards that we could take out. I think I'll take out a Tamio. She's just too slow. I might actually take out multiple Tamios and get Bowmaster in just because he helps close. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. It's worth, like, Force of Vigor killing a creature is worth the 2-for-1. It's basically a Solitude at that point. Overlord is just such a beating. And if you haven't ever seen Overlord in action, you can go watch my Espervile decks. He's like an instrumental part of my Esper Wild deck that I play frequently on the channel. Overlord is just an awesome card. This is some crazy bad luck for us to be going up against 3 fair non-blue decks in a row. As I always say, and I've already said it in the video, fair blue decks are unfavored against fair non-blue decks because we're doing all this stuff to stop combo and they're just playing really good cards. All right, this is an URO hand. I'm going to keep this. I think now Spellbomb is potentially good. It's worth noting that you can't now Spellbomb with the Overlord trigger on the stack, but we can just float it in play and then Reanimate turned off at least. So I'm going to open Hedge Maze here, just get the bad card out of our hand. That is too slow. We've already got URO, which is slow enough, and we can feed URO with that. We need to find a second land, or a third land. Hoping they don't have Wasteland here. Okay, this is fine. Ponder. Okay, this is land number 3. Force of Vigor seems very great. I think what we do is we just island Spellbomb here, and then we keep all these cards. I'll go like that. And if they play that card that gives them the ability to put stuff in, we're really screwed. But we will try to Force of Vigor it out of the way. But like their entire deck is just like insane fatties that like generate value and stuff. I'm like really scared of that card if they have it. And I need to learn the name of it. I'd never seen it before today, but it's clearly like an old school card. Okay, this, I think it's a black-green spell, not a white-green. So I think we're okay. There's the Overlord. So we have, we just pitch cast 3 for 1-ing ourselves. They get a Baragorn. Oh, there's the card. Oh, it is a green-white. Okay. Hunting Grounds. Yeah, and we can keep them off threshold too. So that makes this less scary. I should have played the Nile Spellbomb. I said I was going to play it. I just punted there. Well, it's good to know that the Reanimate is in there. By the way, even if I played it, this is all one smooth action. You can't interact while the Overlord thing is happening. So they put the Baragorn in their hand. Okay. All right. I'm not going to use the Force of Vigor yet. I'll wait. I don't care about this Brainstorm on top. I am going to just URO here. Wait, let's think about this. Could we could Witherbloom, get a land back, fill up our yard, and then Merc next turn. I need to be decisive here. I'm going to get a Bayou so that any card I get lets me bring back URO. Actually, yeah. I think I'm going to do this just to fill up my yard. I'll drain them. I will get back this Tropical Island. And I will play this Spellbomb that I said I was going to play last turn. They are going to get a creature out, which sucks. But we can manage its size. Like we can effectively make it really small and make it die to Endurance. Because we can Spellbomb them and we can Endurance. And then the Baragorn just dies. We still lose Endurance, of course, because it's Death Touch. Actually, if we do it at instant speed, we could... No, we can't clear out... Oh, yeah, we could clear them out and then spell more. That doesn't feel good, though. I think what we want to do is just create a big Merc. They have a Witherbloom command of their own. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit them. They didn't have any cards to return. Okay, Bowmasters is tech. I think we go ahead and just have... Yeah, I think we want to get the clock going with Merc. And then we also have Bowmasters. Yeah, I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, blue. So we can Bowmaster, we can like chump for a few turns while we're hitting them for 7. And then we Endurance and their graveyard is gone and suddenly the creature's pretty small. Yeah, that's fine. I could have done a trick where I Endurance and then once he was totally small, what can I do here? I could Force and then Merc and that... See, would I have the mana to do that? Force and then Merc, and that grows this Merc too? This is crazy. Oh, I can only do that during their turn. Yeah, never mind. I'm going to dig deeper in my deck. Am I? Wait a second. This would be a 2/3. This would die in combat if I just flash in the Endurance. I am going to do that. All right, Endurance comes in. We're going to hit them. They're going to have a 2/3. We could plow or do something, but I think if they had the plow, they would have used it by now. Do they have Solitude? Oh, they have the Solitude. So this does increase the power and toughness. And if I'd blocked with this token, I wouldn't be in this predicament. Yeah, so that was a punt. Okay, so this kills my endurance. And now they are freaking huge, and I don't think we can win anymore. I'm going to brainstorm first. Okay, Thoughtseize seems good. We Thoughtseize, then we Thoughtseize. This comes into play. It doesn't get a chance to attack. We just draw these. So Thoughtseize, brainstorm again. Merc is pretty big. We clear out our graveyard, so this is small. Okay, I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to do Force Vigor here. This. Okay, and now we're going to play the land. We're going to go ahead and brainstorm. Roll Thoughtseize first. Okay, they have a bunch of reanimates. Oh my goodness. We can't stop all these reanimates. Yeah, they're going to be able to reanimate and kill my Merc. There's no way I can win. I don't even have time to read their cards. Yeah, we lost. Because they can just keep reanimating, like the Solitude. There's nothing I can do. I guess maybe I find like an Endurance, but I wouldn't be able to cast it. Force of Vigor, yeah, we just don't have time. Unfortunately, I think if I played tighter, we would have been able to do that. But yeah, like this is a sweet deck. I'm thrilled to feature it. So let's talk about what would have happened had I had time. How do I work through 3 reanimates when they have a Solitude in their graveyard? Well, first of all, they are kind of low in life, but I don't think it's not low enough, and they're going to be gaining life every time they attack with that. I don't think there was a clear path to victory there. Even if I had like another 2 minutes, it probably would have needed more. Yeah. So disappointing loss, but again, you expect to lose those types of matchups. You expect to win kind of combo matchups, tempo matchups, like those kinds of matchups, and then you expect to lose, against like depths and things like that. We've just been very lucky in terms of winning against those 2 matches that we won. Like mono black mid range is pretty tough for a deck like ours. Anyway, see you in round 4. All right, and just a quick note about the previous round. The real punt was, I think, getting greedy. I said Solitude. They could have Solitude. I should have blocked with the Orc Army token too. There's no reason not to just double block. I would have lost it because they could have just death touched it. But I wouldn't have. I would have lost both potentially, but I consider that a punt for sure. Okay, so let's clear our head. Let's focus on this new one. Up against Poxwalker 85. 5 years my junior. They played Dredge in the past. I'm going to keep this. If they are on Dredge, this is an insane hand because we have Endurance. This said, I think it would be crazy to fetch. Yeah, with Murktide, I think we do fetch Underground Sea, and we'll just try to naturally get a green source for Dredge or for Endurance, or we'll try to find one of our 13 other green cards. Okay, so they're on another fair matchup. Okay, so I will tell you a secret. It's very, very difficult to beat Retrofitter Foundry. This card is insane. Absolutely insane. But they do have Lily, and she is a real pain. I think they're on Pox. Yeah. We take Lily. We eventually overpower. Yeah, man, that is some sick art, man. That is like Disney villain. Lily. She's like older and like crueler looking with the arched eyebrows. That's some sick art. And she's got the zombies. Oh, man. Yeah, she's a great card. Dark Rit. Please, just spew your hand. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, Thoughtseize me. We'll take probably Merc. They don't have removal in their hand that we saw. They took Endurance. Food for Merc. Spellbomb. Okay. And if you want to just cantrip off that, you can. Okay. Right. So I think it's unlikely that Merc ever makes it out. We're actually in kind of a rough spot here. Their hand is Mishra's Factory, 1 unknown, but they're going to be able to hit my graveyard at will. I want to be able to surveil. We have Wasteland for their factory if they start getting too frisky, but I'll be stunned if that is the issue. The Mishra's Factory is the card that kills you, but the card that actually killed you was the, turn 1 Thoughtseize or something like that. Or Retrofitter Foundry is probably going to kill us if we don't find Witherbloom. If we find Witherbloom, that's insane. Cut goes in the graveyard. They don't really have that many creatures. Opponent, you just messed up. Okay, so I can play this land, and I can just immediately Merc, and I think I will. They did not need to give us the ability to do this. I will leave the Thoughtseize. Oh, no, wait. I'm not going to leave the Thoughtseize in there. I'll leave the land just in case we do find Witherbloom. Yeah, they easily could have just cantripped through that. I don't know why they didn't. Okay, I'm not worried about those. Not right now when I have a 5/5 on the table. When they get to be 4/4, I can potentially cut it down. Probably don't want to waste that Mishra's Factory, but it might actually be helpful because they do have Liliana in their deck. they drew another Liliana, we're actually really screwed because they can minus her and then they can start plussing, and I don't have any counterplay. So I do think I waste for that reason. They're going ahead and upgrading. Okay, interesting timing. There was no reason to do it then, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just waste them off that factory just because I am a little bit concerned. This costs 3 to untap. Okay, they just let that go. All right. In my humble opinion, and please don't take this the wrong way, Poxwalker, if you're watching, this shows relative inexperience. Like, in my humble opinion, you should just keep your material on the table because you are about to level up to a 4/4. Like, blocking there is kind of playing scared. Like, you've got 18 life. And we may still lose because, again, we're unfavored in these matches. Oh, this is fine. This is not good, but it's like they're never going to have the mana to get rid of our Merc. So it's like free spells can't be cast. I mean, it's a brutal card for sure. And it stops us. I am going to Beanstalk here. Just a draw. Okay, and I will play this land out just because it may get discarded if I don't. So Endurance is going to be pretty awesome. They may blow up Endurance. They would blow up, like this is Disenergy right here. Every non-land permanent, like, so this is going to kill all their dudes that they put out. It won't kill their factory. It does shut off me being able to activate my Misty though, which is relevant. I'll play out land. I always just, my strategy against these types of Pox decks is just to keep playing out land. This is crazy that we're facing these kinds of decks. Like normally I'm facing oops all the time, which this tells me the bans definitely worked. They've got double factory now. Okay, they can start going crazy with these servos and stuff, but like that doesn't change the fact that a 5/5 is flying over and hitting them. This is a flyer, but it's just a chumper as far as I'm concerned. Okay, they are welcome to attack straight into the arms of my deer. Yeah, and they're pumping before I've even declared a blocker. Well, I will tell you, sadly, that is not going to be enough to keep your creature alive. I will tuck their graveyard just in case they have like reanimation effects or something. I don't know. There might be some card that uses it. All right, and this means that they're not going to, they do have the mana to blow this up and my Beanstalk. But if they do that, they unlock my fetch and I get a bunch of cards in my graveyard for my Merc. We can attack with all and then they have to block. It's a force block. I think that's fine. Actually, I should have URO'd first because then I might have found a Fatal Push and then I might have had lethal. Yeah, so that was a punt. So that dies. Drop to 5. I'm going to go ahead and URO here. Wasteland comes in. Wasteland is going to waste this land just to minimize their resources. Now they have the option of blowing up, but it doesn't save them from the Merc. Again, I don't want to suggest that like them not blocking and stuff like that would have changed things dramatically. I think we still had them dead to rights. But yeah, in my humble opinion, you want to use your life total as a resource. Okay, so Force of Vigor definitely comes in. That can stop the Silex. You do have to hardcast it. Bowmasters for their Bowmasters. Bowmasters is also great against Pox style decks. It's interesting. It's like the best card in Pox, and it's also one of the best cards against it. I think we take out Thoughtseize. I don't want to be doing damage to myself on the draw to like get a card out of their hand. A lot of times they'll just have a bunch of lands in their hand. It's definitely tempting to take out some of these pushes. Cut. Maybe we take out a cut. I don't know. Endurance was pretty good there. Beanstalk's the best card in our deck. I don't really see anything else to cut. Like I could just take out one more push. They never had any creatures that we had to deal with, but they could have Beargoyf in there and I'd be embarrassed. But yeah, like pushing like construct, like those tokens and stuff is not, it is kind of embarrassing. I don't think that's where we want to go. This is an insane hand. 3 lands, love it. Force blue card, love it. Bowmaster, love it. And of course, the coup de grace, the piece de resistance, the freaking up the Beanstalk in our hand. This is great. Okay, so we don't want to get wasted here. I think wasting them is foolhardy. I'm not going to waste them. I'll just hold it and use it as a resource later. I'm going to surveil. We're not going to go black yet. White Porter. Ugh. Chains. So this actually is a pretty big deal against our deck. Like it can be a pain in the ass. Let's put it that way. I think I just force this. Yeah, I'll force it and I'll pitch my Ponder. I don't really care about cantripping. But I don't like, normally I just laugh like, haha, that does nothing against my, like I'm playing Brainstorm and Ponder. It's not worth spending 2 mana to make my Ponders and Brainstorms bad. But we have like up to Beanstalk literally in hand. So we're going to surveil. I'm looking for, not that. That goes in the graveyard. That feeds future Merc. Now we're just going to waste. We're going to hope, like, one thing that could really screw us is if they have multiple Urza Sagas. That's like always a nightmare because it's like you can't really plan for that as a blue deck. And by the way, I did go after the thing instead of the land. I could have just gone after this land and then left that, and that's a land that goes away. But I'm going to assume that my opponent is playing a lot of lands. Okay. Dark Ritual. Oh, no. Lost Legacy. Okay, what does this card do? Choose a non-artifact, non-creature card name. Search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled that way from their hand. Okay. Murktide Region. Okay, yeah. I have 2 of those in my deck. That's one of many, many win cons. Actually, it is like I have 3 win cons. If you're going to run us out of win cons, it's going to be a while. Now, the Wasteland on my Hedge Maze. So they basically, just to put things in context, they just 2-for-0'd themselves. That's playing scared, in my opinion. Now, none of this is going to matter if they just have another Wasteland. We're going to be in the dirt for quite a while. We have seen 4 lands, so we have 16 left in 46 cards. Retrofitter is not a big deal. I'll just blow it up whenever I blow up something else. They know that Force of Vigor is in our hand. They're down to 2 cards. Land, please. Oh my goodness. Now we can go up the Beanstalk. And this, like, our hand's pretty meager, but like, keep in mind, it's like meager after we had to force the Chains of Mephistopheles because it undermined like our entire deck. Like, I guess it doesn't stop, but like with URO and everything like that, yeah, it would have been a pain. It's fine. Not even sure what they take here. We can start like Bowmastering to just hit their tokens when they don't have the mana. I think Force probably is the take because it's going to cantrip. We may be able to beat them down with just these Bowmasters, though. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to just start Bowmastering immediately. If they have some sort of graveyard card, we can hit it. All right, so in step, I am going to Bowmaster them. This starts to get tons of material on the table. This can be blown up by Karn Silex. We're just going to have to hope to force that. Did we already use our Surveil land? We did. So I'm not going to pull any additional lands out. Every land in our deck is a land that we might be able to draw. So let's go to combat here. And if they create a dude, I'm just going to ping it. They know I have a second one. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to be relentless here. We're just going to hit them for 3. Start reducing their life. They do use their life total as a resource. This card, uses life to cast. And it's true that I don't expect Orcish Bowmaster to do much against their deck. I am just going to fire everything at them. I'm going to keep hitting them with Bowmaster. I mean, I could cut. Yeah, I think I'll probably actually cut the next thing they create. I'm surprised this isn't legendary. It seems like a legendary card thematically. That's a great rip. All right, let's go in with everything. And I think I just cut and draw here when they create the token. That's fine. Now we're just going to go. I'm going to keep all my mana up. Or I'm going to use a few cards from my graveyard as necessary. I got to buy you here. We don't have Merc in our deck anymore, so like there aren't really any more double blue spells. We'll just go. Actually, it doesn't matter. I want to leave lands in my graveyard now. I don't need. All right, that investment of forcing has now started to pay off, and we drew another Bowmasters. Castle Locthwain definitely is not going to be activated, and we can do the same thing we've been doing, where we just ping the thing. Yeah, I would be totally fine with sacrificing one of my Bowmasters. That's no big deal. The army is the big thing, and it's going to be very big. I guess I could have forced that just for momentum. So Rakshasa's Bargin is certainly tempting, but I just want to keep applying pressure here. I'm going to go ahead and go to attack. When they create the thing, I will just ping it. That's going to be a force for me, dog. Don't want to deal with that. I think we keep force in hand just because we're so close to winning. I would be sad to get like locked out somehow. Okay, Witherbloom is pretty perfect here. They don't have a blocker. We could do an extra damage here, and then we could just Witherbloom next turn. I think that's fine. Again, I'm just trying to like just completely squeeze them. Next turn, we blow up the Retrofitter Foundry. We attack in. They can throw something in front of it. It's a... Oh, wait, actually, we could just kill them with Witherbloom. They're going to have something really special here. And because we're playing lots of dual lands, we're not going to get wasted off of any of our colors. We should still be able to do everything we need to do. All right. And they have one card in hand. I suspect when I attack, they're just going to create this. And I do have force anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they do. We'll just attack and then we'll drain them. Oh, actually... Yeah, they could create the thing and block that. But if they get greedy and block one of the Bowmasters, they are dead. Green, black, direct damage. And I'll just destroy this anyway. Good games. Okay, cool. So again, like I just want to point out, like I don't want to sound overly harsh on my opponent, but like they essentially like Dark Ritualed and cast that spell and did nothing. Nothing that really impacted the game. Final round, we're 3-1. All right, final round. We are in a very unfavorable matchup, in my opinion. Blue-black tempo. They're not necessarily playing this, but this is what they were playing a few days ago. Let's see. Wait, this was yesterday. Yeah, I think we should assume they're playing this. You just got to get your mana under you. Force is bad. Murderous cuts a late game card. Oh, this is fine. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back a waste. And everything comes down to getting mana. Establishing yourself. That is definitely staying on top of my deck. That's fine. I have nothing of consequence in my hand that can be wasted. All I care about is land. I'm not going to try to cheese Wasteland them. I'm just going to keep building up my lands. Okay, Tomio comes in. Definitely a temptation to try to push her in the end step. That will deny them the value. But if they have the Brainstorm, they get an imperfect Brainstorm. I think it's fine. This way, I push... Because I can't have... Like, one of the ways I lose is I get outvalued. So I'm totally fine if they are able to Brainstorm here. But it's an imperfect Brainstorm. They don't immediately get the loyalty. Okay, they're forcing that. That's quite good for me. Okay. So now we just need to find another interaction spell like Wasteland or... URO. Yeah, I'm just going to URO. It's very hard for them to beat URO. I'm going to start wasting them now. My reasoning is that I can Witherbloom and I can waste them again. And that keeps them off cracking clues, so they can't pull ahead. They're going to surveil. Excuse me. Okay, they did final land. I do think it's worth Witherblooming, though. Like, I really hope they flip her. I'm so tempted to wait for them to flip her, though. If I find a card that I can use to bring back URO... Oh, man. I could fill up my yard, get back a Wasteland, or I could just kill her when she flips. I feel like waiting. Thoughtseize is good. I think we Thoughtseize here, and then next turn we can fetch. And if they flip her for some reason, like they may Brainstorm here to flip her if they have the Brainstorm. They have Bowmasters. I can Bowmaster that. Or I can Witherbloom the Bowmaster. Drown on the lock. Okay, that's fine. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so we're just going to chill for a turn. Again, like they're temporarily ahead in getting these, but URO is very difficult for them to deal with. So I have faith that like fetch into URO should get it done. They're fetching it immediately. Yeah, I'm not sure why they timed it that way, but let's get URO back. I will get a Bayou here. So I have double black in case they waste me. And yeah, they could absolutely just counter this with like something as simple as a daze. Green, green, blue, blue. 601. I'm going to keep the waste in there. 2. I guess I'll keep the Misty Rainforest as well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had days, considering they yeah, there's the days. That's fine. It is a, yeah, it's a 2-for-1. And we'll bring it back later. Just waiting for them to flip her or to cast the Bowmasters, and then I'll cast this. I want to be patient. But I guess, you know, I could just... We'll see if they... please flip her. You know you want to flip her. Kaito sucks. That's really rough. All right. Well, we're going to... 2 turns from now, we can attempt to URO again. Yeah, Kaito is definitely one of the scariest things that can happen. Okay, I think we go ahead and Witherbloom here. Green. Black. Witherbloom. I'll blow up a clue. And I will mill myself. I'll get this Wasteland back. That's greedy. I don't care about their mana. I'm gonna get a Delta back. Now I'm gonna play this out, and I'm gonna pass. Next turn, URO will attempt to come back, but they can definitely find something to stop URO by then. They're gonna continue to surveil and pull ahead card wise. Baragorf would be a beating here. If they attempt a flipper, I will push. Now, if they have Brainstorm, they can flipper. Yeah, I don't want her to be... I don't want to deal with her on top of everything else. Okay, they have the Brainstorm. Yeah, I mean, this is why I said the matchup's pretty terrible. Like, we had all the resources, and I don't know, maybe, like, I shouldn't have rode into, days? I don't know. I don't think that... Okay, so that worked. Witherbloom is one of our best draws now. Wait, what happened? Oh, they already drew the card, so brainstorming didn't do anything. Okay, well, that's good for me. I don't think our top card is known. If it is, it's not something we want. I'm gonna hold. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not great. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch. Let's just get URO back. Green, blue. And then we will leave the endurance. No, we don't want endurance or Merc. I think at this point we don't really want Wasteland. Misty, yeah, I don't really care about any of these cards. I do want to leave the Witherbloom in the graveyard just in case I do get Tommy flipped. Like, that's one of the best things you can be doing. This is just going to get forced probably. Okay, so we do get to draw here. Another land. Man, this is a bummer, but I can use these lands eventually. I'm not just going to hold them for Brainstorm. Okay, so now they can stun and they can keep attacking. That's probably what they're going to do. Yep. There's a Merc. It's pretty big. Yep, it's full-size Merc. We do have answers for that in our deck. Bowmasters on top of it. I think we're cooked. I mean, this deck is basically by far the best deck in the format right now, in my humble opinion. And I will record a video with it. I may actually do that today. We'll see. So this can jump in and potentially disrupt, but we're so low in life. Yeah, I'm going to concede. Yeah, they have so much overwhelming pressure. Okay, so let's talk about our sideboard strategy. We do have cards to bring in here. So we bring in a Carpet. We bring in Bowmaster. I don't think we bring in now Spellbomb. It's just not worth it. We've already got Endurance. And then what we take out is we take out all the Wastelands. They're just not good here. They've got basics. They've got tons of underground seas. You're not going to work to them. And I think we take out the Thoughtseize because they're doing damage to us. And yeah, it's just not where we want to be. Endurance is really good if you get it early. It is scary to go down to 17 land. Let's take a look at my sideboard guide. So I always publish a sideboard guide. There's one below. You'll see here, blue back tempo, -3. And I took out a Beanstalk and I brought in a Spellbomb, but I don't think that's correct. I think one of the ways we get ahead is by, yeah, I think that's probably correct. Let's do it. Our own Bowmasters should be really good. It can really crimp Kaito. This is a high risk, high reward hand, and I'm not here for that. This is the same hand except worse. I think we're almost certainly going to lose here, having to mold a 5 against the deck that is hyper efficient. This is similar to the original hand, except worse. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put the forces away. We don't have the luxury of forcing at this point. Yeah, that was rough. And if you keep a hand, first of all, we play the hedge maze. If they waste or if they have the days, we just are dead. That's just game. I don't need another land at this point. I do need some action. So yeah, I don't regret either of those mulligans. All right, they got kind of a slow start. No Tommy. Let's play this one out. Endurance is good, but again, we do have to worry about days. With Delver, it's just about not getting your lands wasted and stuff. The creatures they play are of little significance. You can just deal with them easily. The problem with the cards that my opponent is playing is they generate tons of value along the way. Okay, I am going to go ahead and go for URO here just because if I draw a land, it's really good. If they have a Bowmasters, it's not the end of the world. I have an Endurance that can sneak in. I will grab a Underground Sea here. Yeah, I suspect they do have Bowmasters here. But it's worth it just to get deeper into our deck. I mean, we're taking 3 instead of 2 next turn. I would love to have that land. I should have freaking kept that Bayou probably. That was greedy of me to bin it. Okay, and now we have a Fatal Push, for their Bowmasters next turn. But the clock is ticking. I mean, we already had a Fatal Push. If they waste this, it's actually catastrophic. Yeah, there we go. We're going to get wasted, and then now we're going to die. And, you know, I said, oh, they probably have Bowmasters. Oh, they probably, like, being able to predict what your opponent does, like, comes with experience. But, yeah, that doesn't mean you can change it. What's the name of the Cassandra? Doomed? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we don't have to play anymore. Like, this is, like, by the time I get the land, it's totally over. And I hope that doesn't come across as overly doomer. That was a 3-2 positive record. Lost to the best deck in the format. Let's talk about the best deck in the format. And next video is going to be about that. But I like this deck a lot. How could we further improve our matchup against Blue-Black Tempo so that it's not a slaughter? I'm not sure. Our deck is slow. Like, we're playing URO. Murktide is a good card against them. They actually don't have many answers, but like this is just result-oriented thinking. But like it feels very much like every time I have the Murktide, they have the Brazen Borrower. And I think URO is way better, assuming that your mana doesn't fail you. Man, if I hadn't been that freaking Bayou, that was so dumb of me. Yeah, so like I'm definitely going to be kicking myself about that. But you get to learn the lesson from me without making that mistake yourself. Like, against Blue-Black Tempo, you probably just want to take every single land you get. I'm going to just probably use that heuristic. I'm not going to put away lands. I think that was super greedy. I was looking for action, but, you know, what's the rush? Like, our deck is so much better than theirs as the game goes along. We just have to survive, and we have to keep making land drops. We still have black, then we have Bowmaster for their Bowmaster. We've got the Fatal Pushes. We could absolutely have handled that situation, in my opinion. So I consider that punt at the end to be, to put a very bittersweet kind of like stamp on the league. Also, the other loss to the creature deck with Hunting Grounds, super cool card, by the way. I guess they're just playing like all creatures plus Hunting Grounds. I mean, that seems like a pretty fun deck to play. I don't think you can do it and have cantrips or any like non-creature. Like, I think you have to have a heavy dedication, like half creatures in your deck to make that work. But it is a very cool card. You do have to somehow get Threshold, which you're not going to naturally do without finding the Overlord. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting deck. I was excited when I saw my opponent playing Witherbloom. This is one of my favorite cards. So, yeah, that was cool. Okay, so I think we didn't come up against any combo decks. But if we do, Endurance is good. Believe me. Just trust me, bro. Like, I really do think this card is cracked right now, and we didn't get a chance to really show its strength. It just kind of rotted in our hand and occasionally came out and like maybe surprised a Bowmaster or something like that. But you are going to, I mean, the meta is very oops heavy. We just got very lucky and got like an entire fair league. And I would say like every single one of those rounds, except for probably Pox, was unfavorable. The reason Pox is favorable is Pox sucks, frankly. Like, sorry, Pox stands. It's just not that great of a deck because there are cards like Up the Beanstalk. There are cards like Rakshasa's Bargin. And as long as you keep making your land drops and you just prioritize land over everything else, eventually you're just going to outvalue them because they're doing like Dark Ritual and stuff like that, and they can't close the game very quickly. So it does eventually drag to an end game where you're favored. But all those other decks that we managed to beat, like those were unfavorable. The fair non-blue decks. So I think the deck performed great despite some piloting errors on my part, especially that Bayou at the end. Again, that really stings. But I had a lot of fun, and I hope you had fun too. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.